I don't do this for me. I'm doing this for my family. Like, real life, be that black sheep. Be the person that's going to break those generational curses. Like, do it. And then I remembered it, and I completed that run, and I felt good after. Well, not really. I was just like, it is what it is. On to the next one. But it's still the purpose of always remembering why you got into it. And because it's going to help you on those tough days when you don't feel like doing something or don't feel like getting out of bed that day.
Yo, you already know what it is, baby. It's that. You already know who in here, man. Yes, sir. I'm J.U. here with my co-host, Kingmeechyyy.
Yes, sir.
Another episode, man.
Definitely. Another great episode, man. Love y'all, man.
Just episode 25, to be exact. 25.
I love it. We're going strong. Hey, we've been really consistent. I fuck with this. I ain't gonna lie.
That's how we do it. That's how you do anything in life. Like, anything you want to accomplish, you got to be consistent. Like, if you want people to take you seriously, you got to take yourself seriously.
Definitely consistent and persistent. Even when we don't feel like doing this shit, we still do it. But we always feel like doing it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it doesn't feel like work. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the setting up and the editing, all that stuff kind of feels like work. But actually sitting here, recording, just having conversation, sharing knowledge, it feels like something that kind of like was meant to do, you know?
Definitely.
You know what I'm
like, it feels like you're in your purpose, damn near. That's why I say I love it. But like, speaking on that, this gonna bring us right into our first topic.
Yes,
like,
sir.
Really, it's your why we do what we do. And I'm gonna start off with you on this one. Why do you do the things you do, J.U.? Like, why do you go so hard every day?
Why, like, what's my why, basically?
Yeah. What's your why? What's your purpose?
My why, as far as like why I do the things that I do, is just having such like a deep understanding of this world now. Like, I understand, like, it takes a lot of hard work to get like your family and stuff out of these generational curses and things like that. And a big part of like what makes me like happy, or like I get kind of fulfillment from, is helping people. And helping people basically. But I know I have to help myself first, and that includes being on my self-improvement, working hard, being consistent at something, so I can create that freedom and the tools and things that I need to break those generational curses. And I just feel like that's like one of the layers of my purpose that will bring me deeper towards my like core purpose. And the harder I go, the more people I'm going to be able to help. And it's a big part of helping people is like leading by example. So I think like that's a big part of my why.
That is true. That's very true. Me personally, why I do what I do, and I consider it my why, it's kind of basically the same thing. It's like your family. Like, I look at it like, we're all got one life. If you have an opportunity to really change your family's life for the better, like, why not at least attempt to try? Like, at least attempt to do it. Me personally, I feel like it would be selfish as hell of me not to try to be the best version of myself for all the people that literally like not necessarily counting on me, but counting on me, like, that believe in me. Like, so I feel like really my mom. Like, my mom believes in me so much, and I'd be damned to be like, oh, I'm not gonna work hard today, or I'm gonna just be selfish and like just only look out for myself. If you get what I mean?
Yeah, I get exactly what you mean, and that's exactly how it should be. Like, you should be going hard for something greater than yourself. I think being selfless is a big part of this journey. And also, like, the knowledge we have now, it's not really no going back. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you know so much things about the world and how things work and how the creation process works and things like that, it's like, it's really no going back. Like, yeah, your old world and all that stuff will be trying to pull you back, but when you know so much, it's like it's hard for you to make the wrong decisions at some point. So it's like, you're going to keep going forward, and you're going to keep pushing towards that ultimate goal that you have. And whether it's helping people or like whatever purpose you feel like you have on this earth, like, you're going to want to keep going, especially once you gain the knowledge and you know how to do it. And it takes huge sacrifice. Like, someone got to be the quote unquote black sheep of the family to go against the grain. And everybody might not understand what you're doing at first, but once the results come, they will definitely understand, and they'll start being able to move in a more purposeful way as well once you open up the door for them.
Exactly. And I feel like it's important. Somebody has to open the door. Like, I tell myself all the time, like, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? Like, I promise you, if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it.
And that's how you should think. You should think like that, even though, like, it's, of course, like, anybody can be the one, but I don't know, me, I be feeling like, man, I was chosen to do this shit. I tell you all the time, like, I never seen myself living no regular life. At no point in my life did I ever think I was going to be a regular person. I didn't know exactly how, because you can't have a perfect plan, but you can definitely strive and have an idea of how you want things to go. And like, life is ups and downs, so like I said, like, it's not going to be a perfect plan, but you can execute to the best of your ability and definitely make it somewhere.
You definitely can. And I'm glad you said it, like the black sheep thing, because I feel the same way. I feel like I was legit chosen. Like, I don't know why I feel this way, but ever since a kid, I always felt like I was the chosen one. Like, out of everybody in my family, I just know I'm gonna be rich as fuck. Like, and that's just how it is. And now, to go back a little bit, I like how you said, like, once you know so much, you can't go back. Because that's truly how it is. Like, ignorance is bliss. But, like, once you know so much, you cannot go back. Like, now I know, like, I have to be
it's going to be stressful to go back. Like, say, like, right now, we just choose to stop doing this podcast. A week go by, we're going to be feeling sick. Like, we're, like, literally feeling sick because we were doing this. We were making so much progress, and then we just stopped. And we know that, damn, we should have kept going, and it's going to weigh on us. It's going to be stressful on your mind just from knowing. Like, of course, like you said, ignorance is literally bliss.
Hell yeah. And I was about to say, if that really did happen, we probably couldn't sleep at night. We'd probably be up like, what the fuck? Why the fuck did we do that shit? Like,
facts.
We probably start again in the week like, hey, I can't live with myself. Like, and which you really shouldn't. Like, there's no way you should be able to live with yourself knowing, like, you had this great thing going. So all you had to do was just stick at it and you just stopped. That shit real life make you sick as fuck.
Even if you don't see progress and results right away, because, of course, like, this is YouTube. We can see the numbers growing, but not everything people do you're gonna see the results right away. So
that is true.
Those type of things is it's a little bit easier for people to stop. But even then, like, if something was really your calling and you had enjoyment out of doing it, to where like other people, they might look at this as work, but like we look at it as, hey, us having fun, and we sharing knowledge, kicking game. You know, we might say something that's wrong every now and then, and someone might correct us, and all that is cool. Like, we just here for the experience and here for the growth.
Literally, that's what this thing is all about: growth, growing each other, being better. Because even if like some went terribly wrong and this didn't work out, like the amount of knowledge we know now, we'd pick up something else. Like,
like it's literally, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Because yeah, you're going to have different purpose layers that are for specific things, but it's not just one path to the goal. Like, that's why, like, everybody wants to retire with a certain amount of money and stuff like that. But there's so many different ways you can go about it. And if you want to retire early, you can. Life and society tries to be like, oh no, it's just one way. You got to get a job, then you got to go to college. I mean, you got to go to school, you got to go to college, and then you get a job and you work off to pay your debt. Time you're 65, then you can retire. But now, if you keep continuously gaining knowledge, you'll understand, like, yeah, it is multiple ways I can do this. Nobody is literally doing it the right way. It's like, what's the right way for me might be different for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. And I feel like people don't understand things change. Like, that may have worked back in the day. This is a new era we live. We literally live in the age of technology. Like, you can get paid for doing anything. Like, most people don't realize your day-to-day activities you can get paid for. Literally, even if all you do is sit around on the couch and watch TV, reviewing shows. We talked about that. Yeah,
it's a way to monetize anything you do. Literally, like, it doesn't matter what it is. Somebody would enjoy either watching you do that thing, or they will enjoy the product of you doing whatever you're doing. Somebody out there, like, it's an audience for everything.
Exactly. And I feel like that's really what we're here to tell you. Like, hey, you can go out there and get this shit too. Like, there's enough for all of us to go around. There's enough food for all of us.
Exactly. And a lot of people would say like, okay, self-improvement space is kind of a niche type thing, so you only get a certain audience. But just look at our growth in these, not even a full 3 months yet. We've had more growth than people who don't have niche-based stuff. Some people, they have just regular podcasts. They're just only talking about pop culture stuff. Like, we bring up pop culture stuff sometimes, but it's usually based around self-improvement. It's people that have regular podcasts. They're talking about regular shit, and they're just not putting in the same level of effort, the same level of work. You know what I'm saying? And not to say, like, I'm comparing us to them, but hey, I'm looking at the numbers for everybody. Like, it's like I'm competing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. We got to keep that mindset. Like, niggas can't fuck with us type shit. Like, if not, then it wouldn't be as fun, you know?
Exactly.
I feel like healthy competition is good.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And I'm glad you brought that up because, like, I used to think, like, before we started doing this shit, I needed a niche, like, oh, like, and I only can do one thing, like, I can only do gym stuff, like, oh, I only can do weightlifting, and everything I had to do had to be involved in the gym. And I didn't like being put in that box for the simple fact, like, I always looked at the gym as, like, a means to an end. Yeah, I like looking good. That's the only reason why I go to the gym, though. I don't go to the gym because I love that shit. So I feel like it'd be wrong for me just to make some shit at gym content, you feel me? So I never wanted to be put into that box. And I feel like it's a lot of people out there, like, let's say you like some, like, certain qualities about something, yeah, do a little bit of it, but, like, dip and dab, like, switch it up, like, I'm not saying put energy here, but I'm just saying, like, whatever you get, like, a list of things you want to do and see how you can maybe tie it all together.
Yeah, like, basically don't limit yourself, you know what I'm saying, to whatever box that society trying to put you in. Just because you've been the biology dude and you hardcore in the biology and being a doctor, that don't mean you can't go do ski videos if you want to. If you like skiing and stuff like that too, because one, you have time, and if it's something else that you enjoy, that's something else you enjoy, and you can find a way to monetize anything that you enjoy. It's definitely possible. And we are humans. We're supposed to be not fluid the wrong word nowadays, but like Bruce Lee said, be like water, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like being able to like don't box yourself in, like, oh, I'm just this. Like, if I was just like a hardcore boxer and all I cared about is boxing, and then a nigga that does MMA and is good at boxing, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, he's good at all this stuff, he's gonna fuck my ass up if I try to fight him, you know what I'm saying? And that's because I'm boxing myself into only this one style while he's willing to be fluid.
Exactly.
I use that word nowadays, like, but it's the best word. Like, we ain't talking about sexual fluidity, you know?
Yeah, we not at all. But literally, and that's why I said, like, and then on this journey back to the why thing, it's always important to remember your why. Remember why you got into it, because it's gonna carry you on those bad days. Like,
don't get caught up in the task of the shit to where you start forgetting like why you're doing it.
Exactly. And I feel like I was about to say today I was running today, bro. When I say that run was kicking my ass, bro, because, you know, it was a little humider, it was a little hotter outside today. Like, it was an adjustment. And when I say I was sweating bullets, like, I'm going like, what the fuck is going on? I felt dehydrated. And I was like, and I had to remember my why. Like, why am I doing this? Like, you got to realize, like, this shit is bigger than you. Like, I don't do this for me. I'm doing this for my family. Like, real life, be that black sheep. Be the person that's going to break those generational curses. Like, do it. And then I remembered it, and I completed that running, and I felt good after. Well, not really. I was just like, it is what it is. On to the next one. But it's still the purpose of always remembering why you got into it. Because it's going to help you on those tough days when you don't feel like doing something or don't feel like getting out of bed that day. Simple as that. And that's what something I wanted to ask you. Like, we were talking about why, like, your family, but, like, did you always have that why when you first got into it? Like, did you always knew, like, this is about family, or, like, was it more so you just wanted to be rich? Like,
nah, well, being young, you see people with things, and a lot of times that's like the first reason why people want to get money is because of things. But To be honest, like when I got into like self-improvement, it literally just became about personal freedom and wanting that to share that freedom with the people I love type thing. Like, so, because even like me now, to me, it's not really about money. Like, I feel like personally I could live an abundant life living. Like if I had some land or I had my own island, and like I don't need much things. I just need space and peace and serenity type of thing. Like that's really the things that I want out of life now. Like the fancy bells and whistles, the trinkets, all that stuff is good, and I'm not saying don't get those things. I'm not saying I won't have those things, but I just feel like that's just a product of living that abundant life and having that freedom, is that you can choose to get those things as you want. But I've grown to learn that things and worrying about like material stuff, it like everything you have is going to require some of your energy. So it never really was about that, but I do understand like part of achieving status is having the resources. And yeah, if you have a lot of money, it's like I think Andrew Tate said, it's like bending reality. You can make people do certain things and get certain things done, and things in life is very different. You have more control over your own life just having that financial means. So to me, like the financial thing has always been like the biggest tool to acquire, not necessarily like, oh, I just want to be rich. But growing, like when I was younger, of course, like everybody want to be rich just because you think it will solve all your problems, which I mean it will solve a lot of your problems. Just like just think about, I think there's another thing Tate says, like, do you really have problems or do you just not have enough money, you know?
That's a good one. I like
so
that
it's
one.
like, and that's the thing of that, and that goes into family, because does your family really have problems or do y'all just not have enough money, you know?
Exactly. And I feel like I'm glad you brought it up, and it's okay if you're not in it for necessarily all the right reasons. It's okay when you first get into this thing and just be like, all I want is money. Like when you start,
it's okay if you just want bitches. Like a lot of like it's great motivation to want to be able to obtain a lot of women. Like and that will push you far. Like wanting money will push you far, but at some point you're going to realize like, all right, it's not really about that.
Exactly. And it's gonna get harder too. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna get harder. So it's gonna be like you're gonna have to do some shit you might not really want to do. So when that shit comes, you gotta be thinking, all right, I gotta think about these bitches I'm finna get when I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm rich, I'm finna get all the bitches.
Think about that money, and think about most importantly that freedom of time, freedom of location, freedom of finances. Just like that, I feel like that's really a big part of like a man life, is freedom and control over his own time, which most of us don't have. Most men don't have. Most men, they have to answer to another man and be at this job at this certain time and do this and do that, and that can be draining, because at the end of the day we want freedom, of course, like we want family and things like that, and to like raise our children and stuff as well, but just that personal freedom to like, it's true masculine energy when you have that freedom to like, oh yeah, I'm really on my own schedule.
Exactly. It makes you feel like good about yourself, because I ain't gonna lie, like I mean we can speak on it. You haven't, never mind. We all want that freedom. It's the thing we so desperately chase, and I feel like a lot of people, they don't understand that's what they truly desire is freedom. For the simple fact, they think like, oh, the hoes. I mean, how do you feel? Like, if you got a lot of hoes, you think you got freedom? Because you gotta have time to.
Yeah, like I feel like.
But I know niggas, they
like
they just fuck with hoes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not really. There's not really a judge of how much freedom a man has, because a lot of times if he does have a lot of hoes, he won't even have control over himself, because now he's like too focused on bitches, and now he's a slave to his sexual urges. If you're a slave to any urge, then you automatically don't have freedom, because you can't control yourself. It's like, if like back to like our last time we was talking about like the nicotine addictions and stuff, like if I'm a slave to needing that black I'm out as soon as I wake up. There's niggas like that. Niggas that wake up and they smoke.
You smoke a black amount when you wake up, you're dangerous.
Yeah, you are dangerous.
Dangerous.
And there's niggas like that need that black as soon as they wake up. So no matter how his life is, no matter how much money he got, he's not free, because now he's gonna be planning around that addiction. It's like, boom, like say you a weed head, pothead, and your friends want to take a trip to this country that if you take drugs to that country or any type of thing, if it's weed, if you get caught with it, you probably get a couple years in jail just because they so strict on it. If you don't want to go because of that addiction, that's part of like not having freedom, like, because now it's like you putting that addiction over something that you probably could have had a good experience out of.
Definitely. And that is true. Like anything you're addicted to, if you have addiction in things, like you're not free at all. You're really a slave to that addiction, whatever it is, whether it's women, drugs, shit, whatever. Like you are a slave. So technically, I feel like true freedom, I feel like even when you have true freedom, are you still, and don't be a slave to money. You think, what about slaves to money?
Yeah. I mean, you can be a slave to money. You can be a slave to your business. That's why a lot of people, they want to, like me personally, I want as much things to be automated as possible to where I'm not a slave to this, but the thing is a slave to me, you know what I'm saying? And that's how like if you don't have your own personal slaves, if your dollars aren't working for you in some fashion, then yeah, you're a slave to whatever. Like, is whether you have a job or even if maybe you have your own business, but you have to be active in that business 100% for it to run, then yeah, you're kind of still a slave to that. And of course, at all, like during different points in our lives, you're going to be a slave to something, one thing or another. But like that ultimate goal should be to have as much things monetized as like automatic as possible, automated as possible, so you do have freedom of your time.
Definitely. And I feel like that's true freedom when you have no obligations to anything.
It's like boom, like say I make clothes and I'm starting out, I'm using a Cricut and it's taking my time and I have to do. Eventually you want to get to the point where you have you might have a little sweatshop or something. Like hopefully you treat your employees nice and stuff, so it's not really like a sweatshop. But yeah, you might have like some type of factory set up where everything's getting automated, your shipping is done, everything. You just kind of like overviewing everything, making sure things are okay. Like that's growth within your business and things like that. And over time, you should be able to obtain more and more freedom. Now, you have kids and stuff. You want things set up in a way to where you aren't like a slave to your kids and their schedule. But I mean, you're gonna want to be around I don't even think it's like being saved. That's just doing what we kind of are put here to do. Like it's part of your purpose to raise your kids and stuff like that. I don't think that's being a slave. Like to me, I'd rather be with my kids than working, but I do also understand that working and getting shit done, that's also part of my purpose. That's also part of my fulfillment. And if I'm not deep into that, then my kids, like if I'm not disciplined with something, how can I expect my kids to be disciplined or even listen to me if I'm giving them empty promises, telling them that, oh yeah, dad's making $5K a month right now, but I'm gonna be making $10K a month in 6 months, and then I don't reach those goals eventually, then they start looking at me funny, like, dad, he's saying stuff he ain't doing, or he said we was gonna be able to get this for Christmas, but now we can't get this because he ain't been working hard enough. He been slacking. You know what I'm saying? It's not really about the I read something that said it's not about the amount of time you spend with your kids, but the quality of that time.
Definitely.
So if you have all your business stuff in order when you're with your kids, it's about them. Same thing with your woman. You have your business stuff in order, and you polarize to where like when she's doing one thing, you're doing this thing. And then by the time you get time to spend with her, you're all about her.
Exactly. And I feel like that's why it's so important to have that freedom. Because without that freedom, you're literally going to be working and you're going to be missing out on your kids' life. Simple as that. Like, no matter what, I understand we all need to work, but the most important years of a kid's life is when they're like kids, like, cause you never, all I hear is you never get that time back. You never get that time back. You're absolutely right. You will never get that time back. So that's why, especially like when you're on this journey, especially before you got kids, like, get that stuff automated. Like, everything should be automated. So work now, so you don't got those obligations. So when they need you, you're not chasing money. You don't gotta chase money. Money's coming to you. Money's your slave. That shit is working for you. You're not working for it. Simple as that. Same with your girl. She's gonna love you more too. Boom. And on this journey, you learn a lot. You learn a lot of things. And I think it varies from person to person. One of the most important things I think you learn is a routine. Because we can sit here and tell you guys our routines. We probably will. But I'm going to just start by saying our routines may not work for you. That's just how it is. Like, I feel like it's so important to find your own routine. And don't just look up. Because I know you see those 4 a.m. workout, like, routines. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. We see them. But not saying they're not realistic. But some people, it just won't work for. Because some people may not be morning people. Like, or some people, they don't have that dog in them for real. But that doesn't mean your routine is less bad. So I'm gonna start off with you. What's your like mostly daily routine?
A general version of it would be between 5 and 7 a.m. wake up, meditation, cold shower, probably some sort of breathing exercise, probably get some reading in or some type of learning. On a regular weekday, I'm locked into the stock market. I'm on the East Coast, so at least by 9 o'clock, already looking at charts and stuff like that. And probably got in some type of workout in before, right before that as well. And that pretty much covers my whole morning, all of that. And then the afternoon it just depends on what I have planned. Usually making some money and probably learning. Probably I'll get a second workout in if I can. We got the show scheduled Mondays and Thursdays as far as recording. But to be honest, it's really about having as much of your time accounted for as possible. Like that's the idea you want to have in your head. From the time I wake up, instead of waking up bullshitting around, scrolling on social media, now I need to have is like, especially like for me, it works better to get like, I'm most productive in the morning when I don't have as much noise, as much other things to worry about. I know I don't need to be looking at my phone because nobody, like, I'm usually up before most people, and I feel like those are the type things that kind of help me, is getting all the hard things done in the morning. And then the afternoon's kind of like whatever I want to do type thing, or whatever I have scheduled. But the main thing, like I said, you want to keep in your mind is have as much of your time scheduled as possible, so you're not spending time bullshitting.
Definitely, I like that a lot. And with all this said, that's his. Like, that's, and for a lot of people, that's a lot to do in one day. Not gonna lie. It's like some people, especially like if they got too much dopamine, they won't be able to. You wouldn't be able to compete with them. I'm just keeping it.
And the thing about it is like what fucks up your productivity is if you wake up and you start looking at your phone and you get on social media and you're getting those easy dopamine hits before you even get out of bed. Like, nah. At the most, just look at the time and get up and then start doing things, even if it's just brushing your teeth and of course I do all that stuff included too, and using the bathroom. Like, boom, start your day with that. I also do oil pulling in the morning some mornings, which is like taking coconut oil, swishing around in your mouth for 10 to 20 minutes. But while I'm doing that, I'll probably be stretching or something at the same time. So it's just having those tasks lined up in the morning. It's no particular order, but it's mainly, I could say it's kind of in order, but it's mainly about not wasting time in the morning and not getting on social media and starting to scroll or turning the TV on and stuff like that. Like, nah, I'm really locked in on my physical health, my mental health, and my spiritual health, and in the mornings. Like those are the things I'm working on.
Definitely, and that's great, and I love that. I love that. Me personally, I'm like I tried to. I'm like some of y'all. I tried to get on one of those morning. I used to wake up like early as fuck around like 5, like do everything, like brush my teeth. You know what I mean? Go to the gym. I just feel stretched. You feel so productive, but like with me, it was hard to keep that schedule. It was like I was fighting. It was like I was fighting an uphill battle. Mm-hmm. That's how it felt for me. So now more so, I'm on a. I wake up. And me so more, damn, I said me so more so. Mm-hmm. I like that word. Me so more so, nice. But now I'm more of a napper now. I've definitely became a napper. So like, there's no set 5 a.m. wake up time because at any given time I'm up. But I've been up. So like a lot of times when you's waking up, I've been up. But I've been up since like the last night, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. So if you get what I mean. So whenever I wake up, I do these 3 things. I got 3 things because it was a book. I forgot who it was by, but it was like you should have like non-negotiables, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I got 3 non-negotiables that I know I'm going to do. 1, I'm going to run. I'm going to do some type of exercise. 2, doing something, whether it's editing a video, looking at some videos, like something that's involved in the podcast or my personal channel. 3, gaining knowledge. Those are my 3 things. So every time I wake up, I make sure I do those 3 things. And I feel like that to me has made my day way more productive than it ever has been. For the simple fact, let's say I wake up around 8, I do those 3 things, take a nap around 1, I wake up, I'm going to do those 3 things again. So it's almost like, to me, I look at it like I'm being double as productive. It may not be that way, but to me, that's how my mind works. It's like, damn, I'm double productive. Like, I'm doing hella shit in one day. But in reality, it's like 2 days. It's like my 2 days is like one person's one day. Mm-hmm. If you get what I mean.
And have some like deep work time as well, to where like a lot like while you're running. I know that's probably the best example for you is like getting in that flow state while you're doing something, and like because while you're running, you're really locked in on running. Like you're focused on running, so it's easier to get in that flow state, but. Like for y'all out there, if it's something like you really want to work at, have some time, have at least like an hour a day set for it, and do only that during that hour, and really focus and locked in. And if you do it, even if it's 30 minutes, like say it's reading or you're a graphic designer, spend an hour working on your graphics. And if you spend that hour a day, that'll be and you really lock in for that time, you'll get so much more work done just in that hour because you're literally just focused on that. If you're trying to do it and you're checking your phone every time it pops up, every time a notification comes on, like you're not going to get as much done as you would if you had locked in. And a lot of people, like, they have such small attention spans. It's hard. They probably never been in that flow state, especially like you never played a sport or you never did anything where you really had to focus and lock in on it. Then you probably don't even know what the flow state feels like. And the best way for me to explain it is like you're locked in, you're getting work done on whatever you're doing, and time is just flying. You're not even noticing like what's going on. Like your mind is just focused on it. You're damn near on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the flow state kind of feels like to me.
Definitely. And to describe it, that's how it feels, especially when I'm running. It feels like almost euphoric. Like it feels like with every stride, like I don't even feel it. Like I can be so tired, and then once I enter that state, this shit is easy. Oh my goodness. It's like everything is so perfectly in sync. And that can happen. And I like how you said that like really for me, I can really achieve it when I'm exercising. But now I'm getting better at like especially when it comes down to videos, like I can get it when I'm making shorts, like editing a video. I'll just start knocking them out like boom, 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 boom. Like I'm on my phone, but I'm not on like checking. I'm not texting people. Like a message pop up, I'm not even looking at it. I'm like, we locked in right now. So we working. And I feel like I like that one a lot.
And it's okay, like you gotta understand, like it was easier for our parents and stuff to get a lot of things done because they didn't have these cell phones. Someone wanted to communicate, they had to call them on the landline, and even before that, you gotta think they had to write in the motherfucker a letter and
send a telegram.
It was so much easier to get in that flow state and get locked in on something because the distractions was so minimum. Nowadays, everything is trying to distract you, from the TV to the phone to people around just sending you memes and shit. Like everything is trying to distract you, and you have to have that time set apart. that's why like it might be late at night for you. It might be early in the morning. Usually the best time to do it though is when it's the less amount of noise. Like even like just noise coming from outside, you know what I'm saying? Like especially if you live in the city, or I know when I was living in Southside, I used to live, the train tracks was right behind my house, and like it'd be loud, and like when I first moved there it was like distracting. But like over time I was able to like tune it out and stuff like that. But usually I would plan like if I'm gonna be locked in on something, let it be around the time that the train is going by, not during that time. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a tip, you know. Do it when it's the least amount of noise.
Definitely. And I feel like that's a good thing. And that's why my sleep schedule is the way it is, why I nap. Because like I like staying up at nighttime because it's not as many distractions. Like even if I get on Instagram, there's not many posts, so like I don't be on it. So it's like a reason, like I've already seen every post on my feed, so it's like I know if I go on there what I'm gonna see. So it's like I don't even have to, like my brain doesn't even want to go on there because I know what I'm gonna see. So it's easier for me to lock in because there is no noise. The only person that's really up is myself. So if I go out there and run, like I'm not gonna see other people on the road, and I feel like that helps me. And then like it's kind of calming. If you get it, like it's very calming to me. So if you can like wake up early, like get in those couple hours when there's nobody else, so you don't got those distractions. And I feel like it's so important to like compound interest is a real life thing. We'll probably go into it deeper, but like you doing these good things, like doing these good habits, that shit builds up quick, bro. Like it's like putting $1 million in an investment account and just letting it sit. Like come back in a year, look at it, like you're gonna have a couple $100,000 in that thing. You're gonna be feeling good about yourself. And it's the same with these good habits. You reading every day. Like right now I'm trying to read a book a month, and I'm not even thinking about like the months. I'm thinking about at the end of the year, like goodness gracious,
how many books you would have read.
Exactly. Like that's
having that
books.
minimum number that you trying to do, you probably gonna end up reading more than 12.
Exactly. I hope so. And I feel like that's what we need to start thinking about. Like think about the bigger picture. Like when it comes down to this podcast, like we doing this every week, bro. By the end of this year, it's gonna be huge. Like we already big now, but like then it's gonna be ginormous.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like don't get caught up in the daily task and yeah, like when you're doing stuff, yeah, you want to break it down and take it day by day, but always remember like the bigger picture and the why you're doing it, and those things will help you keep that routine and work on getting in the flow state getting in the flow state and staying in the flow state and not being distracted.
Definitely. That's why that routine is so important, to have good things on that routine, like non-negotiables, even if it's not that many things, but because think about it like this: on my worst day, I'm at least doing 3 good things. Every day I'm probably doing more than that, because most of the time it is 2 runs a day. But even like, let's say something terrible happens and I'm just not feeling, I'm still gonna do those 3 things. So regardless, I'm still building interest on my good habits. So I feel like it's just something to think about, man. In real life.
Facts.
Boom. You ready? Boom. And while we're on this topic, we got to talk about this, because we all got friends. We all love our friends. We all love our family. But like, how important is it to tell people no?
I think it's very important to tell people no, even if you don't have, even if the reason why you're saying no is just because you just don't want to do whatever, or like, even if that's the reason, because at the end of the day, you're protecting your peace, and people should understand that and be okay with that. If they're not the type of people that you can say no to, maybe you shouldn't have them around. Yeah. And sometimes you won't find out until you say no, you know, because people, they love you when you're saying yes, but when you do say no, then things might become a problem, and that's usually when people true colors show, and they usually tend to forget the things you did for them before then, and they just mad because you're saying no now. And a lot of, especially emotional people and people with a lot of like feminine energy, it's about what have you done for me lately. It's like you being like, for example, like a woman, you being a good man 2 weeks ago doesn't matter if you're not being a good man now to them. That's how feminine energy works. You know what I'm saying? And that's just feminine energy. It doesn't have to be just coming from a woman. If a man has a lot of feminine energy, it's gonna be the same way for him.
It exactly will be. And I feel like that's a good thing. Like, if you tell a person no and they're being resentful or mad at you, even for just because you didn't want to do it, they probably shouldn't be around you. Mm-hmm. For the simple fact, I feel like it's important to, like, don't get me wrong, we're not saying be selfish and just keep saying no, 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 no. But if you don't really, if it's going to hurt you or you think it might get somebody in trouble, blah, 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 it's good to say no. Like, saying no could help you and help them, even if they don't think it's gonna help them. Mm-hmm. You might save their life just by telling them no.
And sometimes it's like you may be able to get something done or do the thing, but how much energy is it taking for you to do that? And do you still might have other things that you need your energy for in that moment? So yeah, you might need to say no just to protect your energy and protect your peace. And like we were saying, not everybody's going to be okay with that. Some people might be the biggest problem in the world for them. But at the end of the day, we can't worry about that, especially when we're on this journey. Like, nobody is exempt from the chopping block in your life while you're on self-improvement. That's just how it is. And cares your mother, your grandmother, anybody. And me, you know what I'm saying, one of my grandmothers I had to cut off because she's a very negative person. Like, not to say I won't ever talk to her again, but while she's in this state of being like a very negative person, my journey and the places where I'm trying to go, I can't have people like that around me or in my ear, or people that if it doesn't go their way, then it's a problem. And they don't see the error in their own ways, or they just want to play victim all the time. Like, it literally, no one can be exempt from it. And I feel like everybody is gonna have that one person at least. There's gonna be at least one person that is offended by your self-improvement, or you might have said no to them, like we're talking about now. It's gonna be somebody, and you just have to be prepared for that. And a lot of times it does hurt, because especially if you really fuck with somebody and they not fucking with you because you saying no. But at the end of the day, especially as men, it hurts, you know what I'm saying? We got to keep going and keep moving towards our purpose.
Definitely. Always growing. And as you're on this self-improvement journey, you're going to grow. And when you're growing, the people around you should grow as well. Mm-hmm. If you're seeing they're not growing, that's going to be a problem. If they're not growing, they probably got a problem with you growing. Because I know when I first started this, my mom, like, it was a lot of things, like, you know, she's a mom, so, like, she's gonna gossip. Like, it's feminine. Like, she's very feminine. And she gossiping about stuff. And I had to tell her, like, yeah, like, we not even on this. I don't care what they doing, because if they don't got nothing to do with us, we're not talking about it. Simple as that. And now I told her, and she legit changed. Like, now we're not talking about nobody else but us. Like, same with, like, food wise. Like, I was like, hey, we got to stop drinking dairy milk. Like, that shit's not good for you, like, at all. Yeah, and what did she do? She be getting almond milk.
And that's beautiful. That's the power of, like, masculine energy, when you in your masculine form and you're not scared to bring up things. Like, I feel like masculinity is what it is supposed to be. That. And a lot of times, like, yeah, we can't analyze feminine energy the same way we analyze masculine, but that's why we have to lead and we have to bring up things. But as men, like, we understand women are emotional creatures, so it's certain ways to say things that the feminine will understand. Like, especially if you bring up, like, okay, we already know that dairy affects women, like, it affects all people badly, but women, is like, we see the numbers between nations of women that don't drink as much dairy and the nations that do. The nations that do drink a lot of dairy, they have a lot of, like, breast cancer and things like that. And if you explain things in that way, instead of just saying, like, hey, what the fuck you drinking cow's milk for? Like, shouldn't be drinking that. Like, they're not gonna understand that. You have to, like, break it down for people, and especially, like, the people you love. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to sit, and then sometimes you do have to be more stern about things. It's just about having that discernment, and when you're a true leader, you know how to do those things, and it's gonna come out, especially, like, the more masculine you become.
Definitely. And you're gonna learn how to talk to people and know how to, like, the people around you, I know how to talk to them and get them, like most people anyway. I know how to talk to them and get them to understand what I'm saying. Even if they don't necessarily agree, they can understand where I'm coming from.
It's like if you have a girl, you won't tell her like, oh, man, you're starting to look fat. Now you're gonna be like, nah. Tell her, I like the way your butt moves when you working out and doing them squats. Now, which one you think is gonna have a better, like, you know what I'm saying? And hey, that book, the Way of the Superior Man, it's becoming one of the most important books to me, and like that's something I learned from it. It's like this about like the way you say things when you're talking to the feminine, because the feminine is emotional, so you have to know how to be smooth about things. Like I just said, like don't tell her she look fat. Tell her you like the way her body's shaped. If she feel like she's gaining weight and possibly is gonna gain more weight, tell her you like the way her body look. Tell her you like the way she look when she wear them tight leggings when she working out and stuff like that. Like those are the things that's gonna get her to motivated to work out more, because now she know like, ooh, he like watching me, he like doing it, he like seeing me come home a little sweaty and I got them tights on and the little sports bra and things like that.
Exactly. That's exactly how you should go about it. Like that's some smooth booty right there, straight smooth booty. And I feel like it's important that even when it comes down to men, like you got to know who you're talking to, like, because some people, like some men are more emotional than others. Simple as that. You got to know like
that's why, when you have emotional friends, you got to talk to them in the right way when you're trying to get them on self-improvement and stuff. Don't tell them like, hey, boy, you look like, if you know your friend a little bit emotional, he's not the most masculine, you can't just be like, you can't criticize him the way you would criticize your masculine friends. Like he's gonna be emotional if you say he looking a little frail, versus like me. If you tell me I'm looking frail, I'm gonna hit some push-ups. Like what the fuck you talking about? Hold on, like I'm taking that criticism right. But more feminine, emotional person, you might have to tell them like you might have to. You know what I'm saying?
Tell him to eat a salad. Like
tell
your
him
friend gets fat, be like, hey, like let's go get a salad. Like
tell him that. Tell him that's gonna be healthier for him, or tell him like, yo, you probably get more bitches you start getting in the gym like that.
Straight like that. That might motivate him.
Yeah, exactly. That's motivating him, and you still criticizing him, and you're doing it in the right way.
Definitely, and that's all about doing it in the right way. I feel like that's really becoming a leader. Once you're doing that, you're walking in your masculine energy and being a true leader.
And then once he becomes that masculine man, because he got in the gym, now you can criticize him the way you would criticize a masculine dude. Like, hey, bro, you getting fat, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a masculine dude, he's going to find humor in it, but he's also going to understand, like, he's going to become self-aware. Like, okay, yeah, why is my friend saying this? Maybe I do need to do an extra run here and there, and you know what I'm saying, maybe start exercising with him and things like that.
Hey, simple as that.
Facts.
As simple as that. But that is the end of today's episode, man.
Yes, sir, man. Much love.
Definitely. I just want to say thank y'all, man. On the road to 10K.
Yes, sir.
Feeling great. We'll probably hit that jump by like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. I'm saying, like mid-March by the latest. I'm knowing. I'm believing. It's not a hope. It's not expectations. Like this is things we know. It's things we believe in, and it got to start with us. We got to take ourselves seriously before we expect anybody else to take us seriously, and that comes with consistency. That comes with belief in ourselves, and keep going. You know.
Every single day, and we just want to say thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all for the love. Cause without y'all, there's no us for real.
Facts.
So I just want to say thank y'all. We love y'all, man.
So, y'all. We out.
Respect.